Are you buying a home with a septic system? Here's what you need to know before you sign on the dotted line. Welcome back, everybody. This is Mark McGuire, and today we got another episode of Real Combos in Real Estate. And today what I want to talk to you about is septic. There's a lot of misconceptions about septic, and it is an area with a ton of confusion and a lot of bad information. So we wanted to clear the air and set the record straight. So if you are looking to buy a home with septic, one of the things you need to understand is that yes, you will not pay a sewer bill. That's correct. A lot of people say that septic is the cheaper option because you don't actually have to pay the municipal township for the sewer. That's correct, until your septic system goes bad. So what you need to understand is that a septic system is great in that you don't have to pay the sewer bill, but when it goes bad, it will go bad to the tune of $25,000 to $35,000. So how do we protect against that? Because septic is all throughout our area, and septic isn't bad. You just have to maintain the system. So number one, when you're maintaining your septic system, the first thing we always look for, whether we're repping someone who's buying a home or whether we're speaking with a seller who's getting ready to sell a home, we want to understand how often have they had the tanks pumped. Municipalities are starting to now enforce codes where every 2 years you need to go and have your system pumped. And that means the tanks. So you need to have all of the effluent, which is the code word for poop. You need to have all of that pumped out of the system and your tank drained. This has to be done every 2 years, and this will actually help to preserve the life of your system. So we want to take a look at the maintenance record history. Number two, on the buying side, we're going to have the buyer test the system, and we're going to probe around in the drain field to understand what exactly, is there any extra sort of wetness, any sort of extra water? Is the grass particularly green? We want to see, if there's any physical evidence that the system might be failing. What we can do to actually back that up and prove it from a mathematical standpoint is we do what's called a hydraulic load test. And a hydraulic load test is when we take a bunch of water from a tank truck, pump it into the system at the max capacity that should be stressed relative to the specifications of the system, and we see how long it takes to drain. If it drains properly and it filters correctly, what will end up happening is that the system will pass. If it doesn't, you're gonna have excess wetness around the drain field, and what you're gonna find is that your system fails. So when and if it fails, you're gonna find that it's expensive, it's time consuming, and it's a bit of a mess. And that's kind of the problem with septic. Until that point, it's great, it's cheap, it's free. The only thing you have to do is pay $250 a year every year to get it pumped. Hope this has been helpful. This is Mark McGuire with Real Combos in Real Estate.